A unique team that features an interesting strategy with Mega Pinsir was able to finish in the champions tier of the first ranked season of Pokemon Champions. We're going to be trying out that team and seeing how well it can perform. This is a crazy team that features the ability Anger Point strategy with Storm Throw Mega Pinsir. Let's break it down. So first Pokemon up is going to be the Mega Pinsir with the Hyper Cutter ability, which is able to prevent it from getting affected by Intimidates before Mega Evolving, and then when it does Mega Evolve, gets access to the Aerialate ability, an ability that increases the Pinsir's normal type moves and turns them into flying type attacks. So what's Mega Pinsir's role? So it's one of the only few Pokemon that get access to Storm Throw, which is a guaranteed critical hit move. It's a weak fighting type move that is just guaranteed to get a critical hit, perfect in accuracy. So that's kind of where this Anger Point strategy comes from, because Anger Point is an ability that increases the Pokemon to the maximum attack. Doesn't matter if it's -6, it'll go all the way up to +6. So it can go theoretically up to +12 stats increases, but of course maximizes at +6. And Storm Throw is a weak fighting type move, so you can try to sweep with that user. And then Feint is a way that you could break through the protects and wide guards, which is pretty helpful with all the spread moves out there. So you can go for the Feint into the wide guards and then use a bunch of the spread moves that you have on your team to break through the team, especially under Tailwind. Giga Impact as a really strong flying type attack if you do need a nuke, and a Protect to keep itself around. EV spread wise, pretty simple. It's just gonna be max speed and max attack, so the Mega Pinsir can really just throw off as much damage. Next Pokemon we have is gonna be the Silk Scarf Garganacl, and I'm still not really sure what this mon is supposed to do on this team, but it does have that Silk Scarf to increase the power of its normal type moves for the explosion, because the idea is to lead it and just nuke the field immediately so you can get a free switch into your back Pokemon under Tailwind and then try to go for the Storm Throw plus a KO sweep basically. That's the idea of the Garganacl. You have Stealth Rocks, which can be nice to break potential Focus Ashes, good into Charizard and some other stuff that could be lurking in the back. Wide Guard to protect itself from spread moves, and then Protect to keep itself around. Clear Body going to be the ability on this Garganacl to prevent itself from getting affected by Intimidate mainly. And then the EV spread is just going to be max attack and max speed with a Jolly Nature, because you want to outspeed some stuff under Tailwind. So you can go for that Explosion, KO your Whimsicott, KO the Garganacl, get some pretty good chip damage. It's not like massive damage because Explosion is generally weak even with the Silk Scarf, but you do need it to KO your own Whimsicott. But the idea is, again, to get the free switch under the 3 turns of Tailwind that you have remaining for the Storm Throw Pinsir plus something else in the back. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Hearthstone Tauros with a Anger Point ability. We already discussed Anger Point before, but it maximizes the attack when the user is hit by a critical attack hit. So we have the Earthquake, Rock Slide, Aqua to Protect, which is a really strange move pool on site, like no close combat at all. However, you do have the spread moves that you want to be able to utilize after getting up to +6 with the Tauros to really just get KOs immediately. The Hearthstone to power up the Rock Slide makes it powerful into Charizard. Can KO a lot of the Charizards, even some of the bulkier ones, with that Hearthstone boost, even without the boost initially. And then of course with the +6, the Hearthstone Rock Slide will really be able to touch a lot of damage. And of course Earthquake's just really good into like Basculegion, King Gambit after getting that +6, of course. Aqua Jet for a priority move if you do need it, because a lot of this team is just getting up that Storm Throw pressure immediately into the Tauros, so you can get that Anger Point, because that's mainly what you're trying to do damage-wise. EV spread on this Tauros is you do outspeed a Jolly Basculegion, which is kind of important, and then the maximizing the attack stat, because you do really want the power for this Tauros to be able to dish out as much damage as it possibly can. And then the rest goes in defense to take your own Storm Throws better, because Storm Throw actually will do a decent amount of Tauros still regardless. And then of course, like, there are priority moves like Sucker Punch, Extreme Speed, that you do want to make sure that you have the best chances of being able to take the attack as well as you possibly can. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Mental Herb Whimsicott with the Prankster ability, which is able to give a +1 priority to any of its non-attacking moves, and in this case we have all non-attacking moves. Protect is pretty standard, Tailwind of course to set up the speed control, Encore, which is super disruptive, and then Memento, which is a move we don't commonly see on Whimsicott as much. However, just being able to drop the target's special attack and physical attack stat by 2 stages makes it easier so that Tauros can set up a bit easier. So that's kind of the idea behind the Memento. And then the EV spread, it's kind of funny because it's like it only needs max speed. You don't really want the physical defense bulk because of the fact you want Whimsicott to go down early, because you want the pincer next to the Anger Point mob utilizing the turns of Tailwind and then being able to actually get the sweep off. So you actually don't want any bulk on Whimsicott. So it's just like, hey, I just need max speed. You have the Mental Herb because, again, you don't want like Focus Sash on the Whimsicott because you want it to go down. And then Mental Herb is just for like, hey, if there's like scenarios where maybe you can stagger Tailwind turns against opposing Tailwind, against opposing Whimsicott, you can ignore their Encore from the opposing Whimsicott and you can be able to stack the Tailwind turns against them. Is definitely the reason why the Mental Herb is going to be the item choice on this Whimsicott. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Choice Scarf Camerupt. And yep, that is right, Choice Scarf Camerupt. Even though this Pokemon has not much speed at all, yeah, it is still going to be fast enough. And the idea with this Choice Scarf Camerupt, again, this was a best of one close team sheet idea. Anger Point, of course, is another ability that Camerupt does get access to. We already talked about it with Tauros, but increases the attack stat to the maximum when hit by a critical hit. So that is going to be a secondary way to utilize the Anger Point. So you could have 2-in-1 match, especially because Camerupt and Tauros aren't exactly the bulkiest Pokemon out there. So it can be utilized when one of them goes down, the other can be set up afterwards. So we have Earthquake, Rock Slide, Flame Charge, and Stomping Tantrum. Earthquake and Rock Slide, of course, going to be good spread moves. Stomping Tantrum is a single target ground type move. And then Flame Charge, which can be funny because after getting the +6, the Flame Charge will still do a good amount of damage. And Camerupt's still not the fastest Pokemon, even with the Choice Scarf, even with the Tailwind boost. So yeah, just having Flame Charge so you can outrun things later can be actually kind of funny. EV spread wise, it is going to be maximum attack with a Jolly nature because you want to be able to outspeed some of the stuff like the Undertale and like the mouse holds. You are able to just be able to threaten a lot of damage. You're able to outspeed quite a bit and still be slower than like your Pincer in regular form. So if you want to go for a weaker Storm Throw into your Pokemon, you can still go for it because you don't have to Mega Evolve with the Pincer every time to get the Storm Throw off if you're going for like Storm Throw plus Rock Slide. So that's kind of the reason why it's still underspeeding your regular Pincer that way, but still outspeeding quite a bit of the things afterward. And then again, maximum damage output, and the defense is going to be the rest because you want to be able to take the Storm Throw better and any of the priority moves better. Final Pokemon on this team is going to be the Citrus Berry Farigiraf with the Armor Tail ability, which is able to prevent the opponent's priority moves from affecting your side of the field with Hyper Voice, Imprison, Trick Room, and Protect. The idea of this Farigiraf is to help out against hard Trick Room teams, which can be a bit annoying for this team to handle. So you can reverse Trick Room, you can make sure they aren't able to set up Trick Room in the first place, which allows your Anger Point Mon to be able to sweep. So that's kind of the idea behind this Imprison Farigiraf, and it also prevents them from using Protect, so you are able to take advantage and just dish out as much damage as possible without having to worry about Protect stalling your Tailwind turns or anything else as well. You have Hyper Voice, which is going to be your main damage output as a spread move that can break potential Focus Ashes and just does some decent damage across the board. EV spread wise, you do have a lot of bulk on this Farigiraf to be able to take like Kowtow, Cleave from a non-Black Glasses King Gambit. You have a good amount of special defense to take the Weather Ball as well from the Charizard wise. And then you still have a good amount of speed on this Farigiraf to be able to speed creep some stuff, especially under Tailwind. You're able to outspeed like the Adamant Sneaslers and then like 1 point above that, I believe. So that's kind of the idea here. So how to use the team? Well, a lot of this team is, of course, setting up that Anger Point on either Camerupt or Tauros. And the idea of this team, of course, is to try and set up for these Pokemon to be able to sweep. So ideally, you are able to get Tailwind up with the Whimsicott. So you are able to outspeed because there are a lot of fast Pokemon in this format. You will probably need that Tailwind up so that the Tauros, the Camerupt, and the Pinsir can actually outspeed some pretty fast threats that are in the format. So lead-wise, what do you want to do? You have a few different lead options depending on the situation, but Whimsicott is generally going to be led because you really need that Tailwind up in a lot of cases to be able to sweep the teams. So Tailwind with Whimsicott is generally an option. Usually you pair it up with potentially Garganacl because you can go for the Explosion. And if you do have an opponent that doesn't have access to Tailwind, you can go for Explosion plus Tailwind immediately, sacrifice both Whimsicott and Garganacl, get some chip damage onto the opposing side, KO your own Whimsicott and Garganacl to bring in the Pinsir next to one of Tauros and Camerupt, and then go for the Storm Throw under the Tailwind with an attack from Tauros and Camerupt and try to sweep within those turns of Tailwind. So that is the idea here. You could also lead Whimsicott plus just get some damage across the board with either Camerupt or Tauros. Be willing to sacrifice it. And if Whimsicott goes down, you get a free switch to your Pinsir or your other Anger Point mod. And then you go for the Storm Throw strategy regardless. So that's also another option you can go for. But I would say those are probably going to be your common ones. You could lead like Whimsicott plus Pinsir as well. But you will probably be going for Protect with Pinsir, going for Tailwind, and then maybe Memento, and just getting some chip damage, and then bring in one of the Anger Point mods afterward. I think it's a bit more risky, but can work out depending on the situation. And then, of course, if the opponent has some slower mods, you can go for like a Pinsir plus an Anger Point lead immediately, and just go for the Storm Throw plus some damage output if they have a slower team. And then finally, you can lead Farigiraf in some cases, but usually you would probably want to keep it in the back against a lot of those Trick Room teams because you want to have it for that priority, but mainly you want to set up the Anger Point as fast as possible and then get Farigiraf next to that partner. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. Otherwise, let us try out this team and see if it can still perform well, even if people might know the tricks. The meta also has developed a bit, and I think it might be a lot harder for this team to be utilized, so let us see if we can even pull out some wins with the team. Alright, we have Charizard, Garchomp, King Gambit, Sylveon, Basculegion, and the Aerodactyl. Ooh, alright, let's see what we have here. Are they going to lead the Sylveon? Sylveon Aerodactyl is probably one of the scariest leads that I can see from my opponent's team. Aerodactyl is quite a threat. Quite a threat. Especially with Tailwind access. I'm debating about leading like Whimsicott Tauros here for the Rock Slide pressure against Arrow immediately, which isn't terrible. I kind of like Whimsicott plus Tauros, and if I have to sack both of these Pokemon, so be it. And then I think in the back, Pinsir and Camerupt and try to sweep from there. Basculegion, as always, going to be a super tough Pokemon to beat. Like, Basculegion is gonna be a tough one. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think, Garg doesn't really beat the Basculegion. I could lead Garganacl here and set up Stealth Rock to deal damage to Charizard, but I'd rather just try to brute force a Charizard and just lock in the Rock Slide. So let's see what my opponent decides to go here, because this is not an easy one. Charizard Garchomp. Okay, that's probably the best lead I could ask for because I can threaten Tailwind and Hearthstone Rock Slide should take the knockout in the Charizard. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go for Tailwind and we're going to go for a Rock Slide. We do have access to Hearthstone Rock Slide, so this should do a lot of damage. And yeah, like I'm in pretty good shape there because the Garchomp's also threatened by Whimsicott damage the next turn. They do Mega Ball the Charizard, so potentially I could take the knockout on the Charizard because I don't think they know about the Hearthstone Tauros, which should allow me to KO even the bulkier Charizards in this format. So we see the Mega Evolution. Sun goes up. Tailwind is up now. Please hit. Nice. Oh my goodness, that survived. I did not expect that to survive. Well, we got a flinch into Garchomp and the Charizard. You know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. Alright, I don't run Moonblast here, so this is kind of awkward. I guess I can Memento the Garchomp and I can go for an Aqua Jet into the Charizard. Actually, I would probably just Protect here. Do I want to Protect or do I... Nah, I'd rather just click Aqua Jet or Rock Slide here. I think I'll just click Jet to make sure that I can KO the Charizard safely. They protect Charizard, so I could have protected Tauros, but this is still fine. I'm going for Memento into the Garchomp, and then we get in our Pinsir. And then Pinsir should be in a good spot here. So, alright. Whimsicott down. Aqua Jet into the Charizard. I'm still surprised that Charizard lived the Rock Slide. It's Poison Jab on the Garchomp. Doesn't do much damage. No poison, which is thankful. We go out into Pinsir. We're starting to click our Storm Drain plus, or Storm Throw plus our Rock Slide here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to Storm Throw the Tauros, and we're going to click Rock Slide. If the Garchomp switches out, somebody's taking the Rock Slide, which is pretty ideal for me. And if not, no big deal. We do have one more turn of Tailwind after this that we gotta use, but okay, Charizard switches out, so whatever's coming in is taking that Rock Slide. King Gambit, that's fine, because it doesn't really threaten the Tauros, and then Earthquake's a play that I have. Also, the Charizard's in range of Feint, which is really good for me. So if it's Bask endgame, I had to play around the Bask, but overall, this is a pretty solid turn, I'd say. Especially if they protect Garchomp, because now I can go for Feint into the King Gambit and Earthquake the following turn. So we get the boost with our Tauros Anger Point. We're out of Sucker Punch range. And we go for Rock Slide. We don't have to hit the King Gambit realistically, but we do hit the King Gambit, which is nice. And now we go for Feint plus Earthquake here. I think with the chip on the Garchomp, we should KO it with Earthquake. Hopefully, it should, I would say. And then we just have to beat the Basculegion, which Basculegion is not an easy Pokemon to win against. However, I should have enough resources at this point. The double flinch was just really good. It's more realistically, I think the only one that really mattered was the Charizard. If it went for Solar Beam, yeah, they went for Protect, so this is perfect. Feint Earthquake here. If they went for Solar Beam. Feint's gonna come out into the King Gambit. Beautiful. So we will break through that Protect, so the Tauros now can hit with the Earthquake, and look at all this damage we're about to do to the King Gambit and the Garchomp. Boom. That is a double knockout, which is massive. And now next turn, I Feint the Charizard, take the KO, and if it protects, I'm hitting through the Protect. And then last mon, it should be the Basculegion. So we should be good here, especially because we have a Pinsir that is healthy, so we should be able to deal some damage to that Basculegion. I guess Scarf Basculegion is the only one that I'm actually a little bit concerned about, but yeah, because we did run out of Tailwind turns. Yeah, it's only one turn of Sun left. We will go for a Feint into the Charizard, and we will go for an Earthquake, because I think at this point, I don't want to miss the Rock Slide here. So here's a Feint into the Charizard. Charizard goes down. It's not Scarf Basculegion, so I guarantee win the game. Nice. So I will go for an Earthquake. It's Sash Basculegion. Okay, that makes sense. And who are you going for? Tauros? Goes for the Tauros. That means Pinsir wins because we do have Feint. So you know what? We will take it. I really thought the Heartstone Rockslide was just going to KO the Charizard. I guess, like, the fact that Tauros doesn't have, like, the craziest attack stats initially is a bit unfortunate, because even with the Heartstone boost, it wasn't enough to KO the Charizard, but you know what? We'll take it. The only thing that was really big was probably the Charizard attack there, because the extra damage to Tauros would have made it a little bit tough, but yeah, we will be able to go for Feint, and we will go for a Stomping Tantrum, I suppose. It doesn't really matter. Feint always wins anyway. And Feint will affect the Basculegion because, of course, it's a flying type attack right now with the Aerialate ability. So Basculegion goes down. We somehow win with the strat immediately, which is a nice start to say the least. We'll see if we can continue on. All right, we have Charizard, Milotic, the Sinistra, Sneasler, Aerodactyl, and Sylveon. Aerodactyl a little bit tough for this team, I'd say, but also I wonder if it's Trick 'em Sinistra, because if it's Trick 'em Sinistra, this could get a little bit weird. How would I want to go about this? Is this a camera up to lead angle? I think it is a camera up to lead angle, because I think I want to try to build up to Tauros. I think I do camera up to Whimsicott. I think camera up to Whimsicott is generally fine for the most part, because we're just trying to set up for Tauros plus Pinsir anyway to win the game. A Garg here. Explosion Plan is like not amazing here against the Arrow, so I don't think it's worth it. And yeah, like, I could Wide Guard, but it doesn't really help out here, I think. I don't really need Ferrograff if I'm not expecting the Tricker mode here, so let's try this out. If they do have a Sinistra lead, which that means they will go for Trick Room, we'll try to figure something out, but I'm kind of suspecting, oh, it could be, I guess, Charizard X with this build too, because there's coaching stuff that they could do. So if it's Charizard X, I mean, that makes my life easier, but we'll see. We'll see. Because it definitely could be Charizard X. I should have taken a bit more look on this team. The reason I think it could be Charizard X, they have Fake Out support, they have Sinistra, Hospitality, and the Milotic with the competitive. More support Charizard X than Charizard Y. Granted, it could still be Charizard Y, but we'll see what my opponent decides to go with. It is going to be the Charizard Sneasler lead. Okay, I'm having a suspicion already. As we go Camerupt plus the Whimsicott. Alright. I'm just going to go for Rock Slide immediately, and I'm going to go for... Protect because I don't... They can't knock out Camerupt immediately, I'm pretty sure. I think Protect is fine because, yeah, it is Charizard X. I can Encore Lock the Charizard if it decides to go for a Dragon Dance, and I do have access to Tailwind with Whimsicott, which is also played that I can go for the next turn. Alright, we will go for the Protect with Whimsicott. They go for Fake Out and Whimsicott. Okay, are they going to go for the KO on Whimsicott, or are they going for a Flare Blitz? Okay, yeah, Flare Blitz. No Dragon Dance, that makes sense. I do get a Rock Slide here. Decent damage, okay. I get a crit on Sneasler, so be it. I'm going to go for another Rock Slide, and I'm going to go for Tailwind. I could Encore to Sneasler. I think Sneasler... Would Sneasler switch out? It depends on if they think I have Sash. If they think I have Sash Whimsicott, they would probably switch out to Sneasler to avoid the Fake Out. But I have no reason not to go for the Tailwind and get in my Pinsir. I want them to KO the Whimsicott and allow me to get the free switch. So we will go for the Tailwind here. We're just going to go spam the Rock Slide because we need the chip damage regardless. This damage is pretty good here. Another crit in the Sneasler, which is funny. They go for Dire Claw. This is actually the perfect scenario because now I can get a Storm Throw off into the Camerupt and go for Rock Slide again. Did they Flare Blitz or did they Dragon Dance this time? They Dragon Dance, which is actually perfect because now I can go for Storm Throw. And this is actually really great for me because the position was actually a little bit strange because of Sinistra always with the redirection. Because they didn't get Sinistra in, I can now go for the Storm Throw without having to worry about redirection or KOing the Sinistra first. So we go for a Rock Slide, and we're going to go for a Storm Throw into the Camerupt. And the Sneasler also didn't get the boost from a White Herb, although it's probably Focus Sash realistically, so I don't think I have to worry about White Herb Sneasler, but if it did have like access to the boost, it would have been kind of annoying, because then they would have outsped my Camerupt. They go Milo here, which is actually good for me, okay. Are they protecting the Charizard? I wonder how much damage I do to Milo, actually, with this. I don't know. Okay, they didn't protect the Charizard. That Storm Throw? I didn't realize the damage on camera, but that did a lot, actually. Rock Slide? We do connect with both. Huge. That barely did 50% to Milo, but that's actually still really good damage, okay? We crit the Charizard, doesn't matter there. Okay, Camerupt getting 3 crits, although most of them probably not mattering in a long-term perspective. Alright. What's coming out? Is it Sneasler? I assume last mon is Sinistra at this point, so if it's Sinistra here, I'm clicking Feint into Rock Slide, the Milotic slot. If they go Sneasler, I'm going to click Feint into the Sneasler, because it probably goes down to Feint, I assume. Because they can't KO both my Pokemon with just Milo here. So we're going to go for Rock Slide. We're going to go for Feint. Because I want the... No, this is always the play. Yeah. Because they can only Fake Out 1. And I should get either a lot of damage or KO. Or both if they don't Fake Out for some reason. They do Fake Out the Camerupt. That makes sense. They're going to probably Muddy Water here, which is fine. I do go for the Feint into the Sneasler. This should KO. Beautiful. And Milo will get a KO, but that's fine. I think I win with Tauros plus the Pinsir. Yeah, they go for Storm or Muddy Water. Pinsir took a lot of damage. Alright, we're going to go out into Tauros. This is going to be Sinistra. Oh, wait, I forget they get healing, which is kind of annoying, actually. This might not be over. This might come down to, does Giga Impact plus Rock Slide KO to Milotic? Or, yeah, I think that's probably it. I think they Rage Powder to avoid the... Okay, so I either need 1 out of 2 Rock Slide flinches if they Rage Powder because they see I'm Anger Point Tauros. I'm gonna go for Rock Slide plus Giga Impact into Milo. Wait, they didn't go for Rage Powder at all. I could have just Storm Drain. Okay, Storm Throw. And I just KO'd a Milo. Wow, that's strong. I actually did not think I was KO'ing Milo from there. I thought Rage Powder was always coming out, and I would have KO'd the Sinistra, and I had 2 chances to flinch the Sinistra, which I thought gave me the best odds. Now I should just win with the Pinsir anyway, because like even if they Matcha Gotcha, it's not like they're doing that much damage to my Pinsir, and I think as long as I hit 1 more Giga Impact, I should be good. Granted, I guess there could be burn stuff as well. They're going to get recovery from the Matcha Gotcha, but I think Pinsir still could win that endgame, but who knows. All right, we have Dragonite, Basculegion, Scizor with our Chaladon, Pelipper, and Incineroar. This is going to be quite a scary matchup here because Rain, I would say, is nowhere easy. Nowhere near easy. Okay. If it's Timid Dragonite with Mega, we're in really big trouble. Everything else is acceptable. Oh, this is tough. How do you set this up against this kind of Rain team? Is it Tauros plus Pinsir? Just immediately lead? If I lead that and they lead instant, it's kind of concerning. Yeah, this is not going to be an easy one. This is not going to be an easy one, huh? Because Garg Explosion does nothing in this matchup. Farigiraf can do things with priority, but I suppose like it's just not great. I think it's probably Camera Up and you bring Farigiraf just for Armor Tail. Like Whimsicott Tailwind would be nice here, but I don't know if it's gonna help. I realistically don't think it's gonna help. We'll see. Memento doesn't help either because I'm pretty sure that Hurricane and Electroshock will just KO the Tauros anyway. Okay, they lead Incineroar plus the Scizor. Okay, interesting. Versus Pinsir and Tauros. Do I think they can even KO here? I feel like I go on the offense here with Storm Throw plus a Rock Slide. I don't know who they fake out, but granted, I think it's acceptable. This is probably one of the easier leads to handle. Granted, it's still not easy per se. In case they worry about a random Farigiraf switch, I think I always just Mega Evolve and go for a Storm Throw into a Rock Slide, but we'll see. They do Mega Evolve with both. I also can Rock Slide flinch the Scizor if they give me the Rock Slide off, so that's definitely okay here. Okay, they fake out the Tauros. So I do get the Storm Throw off immediately. Take a lot. Flinch into Source Ants. Okay. I don't know if Bullet Punch KOs the Tauros. That's the only thing here. I'm going to go for Farigiraf and just click Rock Slide. I would like the Rock Slide off into these Pokemon. I don't think I KO'd a Scizor though. But I think I still go for it anyway because I can get the flinch into Scizor regardless. And I do have a backup of Camerupt, which isn't awful. So we'll go out into Farigiraf. They did go for Bullet Punch, which is massive for me. Okay, here's a Rock Slide. Please land both. Nice. That's really huge. Oh, that's massive. Okay. Goodbye, Incineroar. The Scizor is weakened. Very nice. Very nice. So Farigiraf was actually the best bring. Okay. Basculegion coming in, which is super scary. Man, I wish I had Psychic. I wish I had any form of Psychic right now. I'm just trying to figure out how I beat Basculegion in the end. Are they clicking last respect? They do click last respect here, right? The question is, do they go for the KO with Scizor or do they protect? I guess there's nothing wrong with going for a double protect here. Oh, actually, this was not the right play, I think. I'm scouting for a Scizor protect, but I think I should have went for a Trick Room plus protect here. And even if Rigoff went down, I should have went for Trick Room. If I went for Trick Room, I get like a Aqua Jet or Earthquake scenario off. That would have been massive. Okay, I can still win this endgame, but it's like really rough. Okay, they did go for last respect, okay? Because I imagine this is Scarf Bask on the team, which is why I'm like in a rough position. I have to kind of call what the Bask is here, and I'm like very, very sure it would be Scarf on this. So I think we go for a Trick Room and an Aqua Jet here into the Scizor. Last one's going to be Pelipper though. We do get the Aqua Jet into the Scizor, so it KOs the Scizor before I get KO'd by the last respect. Like, I had to play aggressive in the rain matchup because there's, like, not much. I wish I got Trick Room off because if I Trick Room, then, like, earlier, it would have been nicer, I think, for Pinsir. But I guess it still kind of gives me the same odds here. Because I would have still probably had to Jet the Tauros because Bug Bite would have KO'd the Tauros. Okay. I think the play is to go Pinsir here and bait the attacks into the Pinsir slot. Yeah, it's Pelipper back. I really wish I had Psychic here. Psychic would be a lot better here than Hyper Voice. We're going to go for Hyper Voice and we're going to go for Protect. Also, this is not Scarf Bask. I just like instantly lost on the spot. I should have went for a Rock Slide if that was the case. But yeah, we're going to go for Hyper Voice Protect here. Because they should be going for Hurricane and something else here. So here's a Hyper Voice. Oh, that's really good damage to Pelipper, actually. It might be Sash. They go for Weather Ball. Okay, the way they're playing this makes me think that they are, like, Scarf Bask, which is good. Okay. Yeah, they last respect again. I'm having a suspicion it is probably that case. I go for Hyper Voice always into Pelipper here, and I sack my Camerupt. And the reason I do this is because if this is Citrus Berry Pelipper, I go for Hyper Voice, and then I put the Pelipper into range of Feint, and then I just PowerPoint stall the Bask, and then win the game off that. Actually, do I win off that? Because do I have enough HP to win? I don't know, actually. Okay, they went for Protect, which is fine. Actually, no, this is this better? It might be better. I think it's just going to come down to is this Citrus. I don't know, Hyper Voice did a lot. And I mean a lot to the Pelipper. This is kind of a call. If I think it's Citrus, I have to not go for Feint. But it's no bulk. I think it's... I think I'm just going to bank on it being Sash Pelipper. It looks really frail, and I don't know if you run Citrus Berry Bulkless Pelipper, because Hyper Voice should not be doing that much, I think. So we go for Feint here. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think Fariggoth wins, because we have enough HP to beat the Basque Legion now. Hyper Voice KOs to Pelipper, and then they go for Last Respect, and they're locked into Last Respect. So it KOs my Pinsir, but it should be good. The reason I couldn't go for like a Giga Impact and risk it is because if they Hurricane, well, actually, if they go for Hurricane, would it be fine? No, because it was the last turn of Trick Room. They could protect Pelipper if they have Protect, and then it could have been really bad. And we already saw it had Protect earlier, so yeah. Now we're just going to stay here and just see if this is Scarf Basque Legion. So, are you Scarf Basque Legion? Yeah, you're Scarf Basket Legion. I had a big feeling. So I do win this end game. Eventually they're gonna struggle, and unless they struggle crit every single time, I do win the game. So I guess we're just gonna sit here, go for whatever, and I guess we'll fast forward until we come back. And I don't think they can timer stall me because I don't think the game's been long enough to where they can timer stall effectively. Yeah. So we should be good here, I'd say. Although they have a lot more your time, but it should be fine. Because even if they use up all those like 6 minutes, even with animations, I should be good. And they also are not timer stalling for the fact, so we should be good. Okay, I think we'll probably pause until something happens, or fast forward until something happens. So we'll BRB. All right, we're finally getting some action. They are struggling here, and they did not crit me immediately. So as long as Dre struggle crits don't happen, I think I'm good. So we'll just spam Hyper Voice. Timer stall is no longer a play for them because they would lose on timer, I think, if I'm not mistaken. How much does the struggle do? Okay. I'm pretty sure that 2 struggle crits do not KO me, and they'll KO themselves due to recoil, so I should have this game locked. I just have to dodge 2 struggle crits. So now we do win the game guaranteed. What a funny mob. But you do run for graph, so Scarf Bass can't clean you up in end games like this scenario. I didn't think this would be how the end game would go. I'm very surprised we saw no Arch Chaladon. Maybe they thought I was Sunny Day Whimsicott. And no, Dragonite definitely helped out for sure. But yeah, like I'm very happy with the Farigiraf ring because it was needed against this Basket Legion. And the priority blocking actually did come into play a lot here. So we do take the win against the Scarf Basket Legion endgame. And thankfully it wasn't Citrus Berry Pelipper, but yeah. Alright, we have Charizard, Glimora, Whimsicott, Basket Legion, Kingambit, and Garchomp. I actually don't know if this team has a matchup for this. We'll try, but I do think it's pretty rough to handle. I'm trying to think what's the best combination that I do have for this build. Is it Whimsicott plus the it's kind of a rough one generally. It is a rough one generally. Is it setting up Trick Room? But I don't have Psychic. That's a problem. I could try to set up Trick Room, but the thing is, it's kind of still a weird game against this kind of build. I guess I could try to Trick Room route, because I don't believe that I win with the Whimsicott Tailwind mode. You know what? I'm going to do Farigiraf plus Camerupt, and then in the back, Tauros plus the Pinsir. I'm going to see if this works or not. This plan is super scuffed. Just dealing with Glimora because you don't have a way to hit Glimora other than Hyper Voice on this team to prevent the rock or prevent the T-Spikes from going up isn't exactly the greatest idea. But yeah, let's try it out. Whimsicott Glimora versus Camerupt Farigiraf. I mean, I'm just trying this out because I can't really see. Like, if I did lead Whims into Glim, it's like, okay, I could sacrifice 2, but I still have to deal with the Focus Sash Glim, and the T-Spikes go up. It's just like, I don't think there's really that much of a way that can help me here. I think I'm going to go for Hyper Voice immediately. The question is, am I going for a Storming Tantrum immediately and accepting that the rocks are going up? I think so. Self Earthquake is not good here. Yeah, I'm just going to Stomping Tantrum the Glim immediately. I need to get rid of that Glim. They go for Moonblast into Farig. No, Camerupt. Okay, that's fine. That's actually better case. Is this our power double up? They get a crit. Doesn't matter here. Oh, wait, it does because I got aim. Not like it matters, but that's just really funny. That's really funny, to say the least. They do Earth Power. Yep, that's fine. And I get a Hyper Voice off. Okay. So I get rid of the Glim, which is positive. I'm still very, very, very weak to this build in general, though. I think it's probably Pinsir. It depends on who they brought in the back. I have no idea who they brought in the back. I'm gonna try Pinsir, though. King Gambit comes out. Ooh, interesting. Wait, I think I have an okay plan here, then. Yeah, my plan's okay then, if that's the case. I'm just gonna get Hyper Voice damage off, and I'm gonna go for a feint into the Whimsicott. I do have Storm Drain or Storm Throw. I don't think Helping Hand Storm Throw unfortunately KOs the Gambit. So we're gonna go for feint and see if it can KO Whimsicott. Because if we KO Whimsicott, we KO it with higher priority than the Prankster move, so we would deny Tailwind, which is kind of massive here. Because I would ideally want Tailwind not to be active. Okay, here's a feint. Oh, just barely missing the knockout, man. I need to self Earthquake would have been bad. Okay, they Tailwinded. I think I lose, though. They kowtow my Giraffe. Actually, maybe this is fine. Oh no, I Hyper Voice KO'd the Whims. That's bad. Yeah, they get a free switch into Charizard. Maybe I could win with Tauros. But it's like super unlikely here, I think. Yeah, Charizard comes in. If Feint KO'd, I think I had a really good chance of winning, because I'm pretty sure then I could go for Tauros, Storm Throw, Rock Slide plan. Or I could go just for... Actually, no, I wouldn't even Storm Throw. I would just Feint Rock Slide, right? Yeah, Feint Rock Slide would have been better. Alright. It's winnable. It's winnable, but it's super sus because of the Gambit or the Charizard and Tailwind. So we double protect here. They stall out a turn. They're gonna go for Weather Ball Kowtow, I think. I don't want to switch in Tauros because I can't risk taking too much damage here. Taking too much damage would be game losing. I have to get a call right the next turn, potentially. I think... Oh, why did Gambit protect? Wait, why did Gambit protect? There's no reason to protect here. Do I keep spamming protect with Pinsir, or do I just go for the feint into Charizard? Because Rock Slide might not KO the Charizard depending on its bulk, so I think my best play is to always go for a feint. I think it is protect and feint the Charizard. Go for a double protect and feint the Charizard. The King Gambit will be in range of Rock Slide after or close combat, even if it's Chople, I think after the Rock Slide. I fail to protect, I go for the feint into Charizard. That does some decent damage, but it should be bulky Charizard. Heatwave comes out. Okay, Tauros really has to clutch up here. With ideally flinch chance, but yeah, I have to protect on this last turn, unfortunately. One, I have to outspeed this Charizard. Two, I have to either flinch the King Gambit or just not take too much damage, because I'm about to take a poison turn, and then they're going to also get another poison turn, so yeah, this is not great. I could go for a raw close combat to Gambit the next turn. This is the last turn of Tailwind I have to protect, because otherwise Charizard just clicks Solar Beam. I guess if, how many turns of Sun? No, they have too many turns of Sun. That means they might be more incentivized to attack, though. Sucker Punch, that makes sense. Solar Beam, yep. The poison adds up. The Tailwind peters out. There's 2 turns of Sun. I think I'm just going to launch the Rock Slide and just hope that they don't protect Charizard and I get the damage off. Let's see. I have to outspeed the Charizard. Okay, they didn't protect Charizard. Is Tauros faster? Because that did nothing. We connect. Rock Slide KOs the Charizard. And now we just got to KO this Kingambit close combat. Oh, this is close. This is close. Because I don't know. I want to say that the close combat should get the KO. They're going to protect... Oh, wait. Guess who forgot they didn't have close combat? I'm so used to it on the Tauros. Oh, I can't win. I was playing towards close combat. I forgot that I don't have close combat on this. Oh, man. How do I beat the Gambit normally? Is it just Storm Throw? We need an Earthquake crit then. Yeah, we need an Earthquake crit. Dang, even if we had Stomping Tantrum, we could self-Aqua Jet so we fail to move and then get a Stomping Tantrum. Oh, okay, Earthquake crit. Earthquake crit. I don't even know if that knocks off Gambit realistically. Oh, I thought I had a chance, but I didn't realize I didn't have close combat. Actually, you know what was my win con there? They Sucker Punch, they crit my Tauros, and then I get the Earthquake off guaranteed with the +6. Unfortunately, I do not KO the Kingambit, so the game is over. Man, it was just a Whimsicott survival. If the Whimsicott went down to Faint, I think it would have been so much easier. And I mean so much easier. Yeah, I think this matchup is just pretty difficult. I think this was even one of the better lines that I had against this team too. Because I'm trying to think, like, no matter what, if you go with Whimsicott lead, you're probably sacking stuff immediately and you can't even sweep because you're going to have to break the sash on the Glamora immediately, which means your entire team gets T-spiked immediately, which means then Tauros is going to be super low and then threatened by Sucker Punch by the Kingambit in the end game. So I don't think it's really good against that kind of team. All right, we have Eternal Floette, Frostlass, Glaceon, Infernape, Aerodactyl, and Garchomp. So very interesting snow team, which is going to be a bit annoying because that defense boost is actually pretty massive, but that's what we have to do here. What's my lead here? Is it just lead Tauros plus the Whimsicott immediately? Because against Snow, this is such a weird, weird matchup. No, I think it's Whimsicott plus Camerupt to lead. Have Tauros in the back with Pinsir. Farigiraf does nothing in this matchup realistically. There's no priority to block. Trick Room. There's no Trick Room on my opponent's side. There is Tailwind, but it's really hard for me to play under Tailwind with this team anyway. The Garganical, not really worth bringing, I think, because there's not really a point of the explosion here. I'm trying to think like what games they are. I mean, rocks would be nice, but I think it's not really that great otherwise. So we're gonna see Aerodactyl Floette. Okay, that makes sense. Versus Whimsicott Camerupt. We have a very simple Tailwind and a simple Rock Slide here. The Mega Floette, so I don't know. Does Mega Aerodactyl with Dual Mega? We'll find out, I guess. Okay. So we get a Tailwind off with our Whims. And we Rock Slide here. Good damage. Crit on Floette. They do get Tailwind up. Okay, this is going to be pretty rough. And they go for Moonblast and a Camerupt for some reason. Okay, wait, that's actually good for me. That also did a lot less to Camerupt than I thought. I know it's resisted, but this Camerupt is not exactly bulky. They should either protect or switch, right? The Encore is super obvious. But I think I still go for an Encore regardless into the Aerodactyl, and I still go for a Rock Slide. Yeah, they switch out, which is fine. So we're playing with even speed tier or information. We do see Infernape come in. I do fail the Encore, which is fine, and I will get a Rock Slide off. as they go for Moonblast into the Whimsicott and take the knockout. Okay. If the Infernape has Faint, we're in a lot of trouble. We do get another Rock Slide off, which is actually not bad because the damage is building up into this team. Although, realistically, I don't see how I'm winning against this. I don't see how I win against the Aerodactyl plus this Infernape plus the Floette, because I'm just getting out damaged here, I think. I gotta go Pinsir, I suppose, and I guess I'll go for a Protect with Pinsir and Rock Slide. There's not really a big reason to Mega Evolve now. Oh, it would have been actually so much easier to float just crit my Arrow turn 1, but yeah, this is not looking too good. Is this Fake Out? U-turn. Okay, wait. Is that better for me or is that worse? I think it depends on their last Pokemon. Because it's not Frostlass. It's probably not Glaceon. It's probably Garchomp then. Arrow. Did they go for Dazzling Gleam? Because Dazzling Gleam doesn't KO. Moonblast. Okay. I can go for Aqua Jet plus Giga Impact. I just don't know. I don't think I win. Do I win the endgame? No, it's probably unlikely. Faint Aqua Jet doesn't KO the Floette. Yeah, I think I just have to launch the Giga Impact and Aqua Jet the Aerodactyl. Unless I read Aerodactyl to Protect, but even if Aerodactyl protects, it's not really a counterplay that I have here. So I have to Aqua Jet the Aerodactyl, and I gotta go for the Giga Impact. Yeah, Arrows just seem really tough for this team. Because the fast hit everything super effectively is pretty rough. Okay, it looks like I get both, but it's probably Infernape plus the Garchomp back. Maybe if I dodge a Rock Slide, maybe. Maybe that's how I get into the game. Because Giga Impact will KO the Floette, but the problem is I locked myself in a Giga Impact. If I had Body Slam, I actually might have KO'd the Floette, and then it would have been an actual, like, pretty, actually, potential game. But now I think, unless Rock Slide misses, I'm probably cooked. Aqua Jet does not knock out the Infernape at that range either. I highly doubt it. I'm just gonna go for Earthquake. They probably just Fake Out Rock Slide. It's pretty safe for the most part. If I dodge the Rock Slide, there's a chance, but yeah. Or they Flare Blitz, so maybe I should have went for Aqua Jet crit. Maybe if I went for Aqua Jet crit and KO the Infernape, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was like Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, or maybe Dragon Claw to be super safe. Yeah, they did Rock Slide. Yeah, so I guess Earthquake's technically the better play anyway, because I get damage on the Garchomp. Okay. Do you know what my win con is? I hope the... Well, one, I need Tauros to lose a crit Earthquake, and two, I need them to crit me. That's the out, man. That's the out. We're going for the crit Earthquake. We're going to try. We're trying, but we'll see. Yeah, that was in crit, and that wouldn't have KO'd. So Earthquake, unless we crit, it's probably Citrus anyway. I don't think crit Jet knocks out the Garchomp at that range, but we got to go for it anyway. No shot the crit Aqua Jet KOs, unless I low rolled the Earthquake. Yeah, crit Aqua Jet didn't KO. Okay, Aerodactyl just tough. I don't see how you exactly win that, especially with Floette, because it does way too much. Sure, I could have maybe mementoed on the turn that they switched out with the Encore, but even then, like, Floette, I think, was still blowing my Tauros up regardless. So I don't know if there was anything I could do. All right, we have Aerodactyl, Garchomp, Scovillain, Basculeech, and Sylveon Kingambit. Another Arrow. I feel like Arrow kind of dropped off for a little bit. I mean, it's still used, but like I didn't face many Aerodactyls, I think, recently, and now I'm just getting all the Arrows when I have a bad matchup. Okay. Scovillain's also, how do you beat Scovillain with this team? Because they just Rage Powder. Yeah, this is really not good. Everything seems tough with this. I mean, this is probably... I'm going to try out the Garganacl since we never brought it into a single game. I'm going to try it out and see if it works. With Tauros Pinsir in the back, because I need some sort of speed control to win. I don't know. It just seems a bit tough for this team to actually demolish Aerodactyl stuff. We'll see. I think they lead Aerodactyl. I don't have Salt Cure though, so I can't even like Salt Cure the arrow to break a sash or something. They let Garchomp Sylveon. What? Okay. Wait, this could be really good for me. Wait, this is really good for me actually. Well, Basky Legion is still a huge, massive threat, but you know, we're gonna Tailwind and we're gonna go for... Do I think +6 Earthquake knocks out Sylveon? It might. I think my play is to go for Rocks. No, because Garg doesn't go down. I need to Explosion. I actually hope that I don't KO the Sylveon here, but we'll see. Or if Sylveon protects, that's fine. Okay, we got a Tailwind up. And Explosion. That's actually perfect. That did way less than I thought actually, but that's actually so perfect. The reason that's so perfect is now I can go for Storm Throw plus Earthquake here, and that's really good for me. Poison Jab and Calm Mind, that's fine. Oh wait, isn't this... Oh, wait, now that I think about it, I know this team. This is the team that finished 4th place in the last season ladders. Right? I think it is. So we go on a Pinsir and we go on a Tauros. And we click... I'm debating about like not Mega Evolving just so I have less attack, but I don't really want to take the Earthquake damage, and Rock Slide's definitely not KOing the Garchomp. So yeah, I think I have to Mega Evolve, unfortunately. Have to go for the Storm Throw into the Tauros, and we do go for the Earthquake here. Okay. Surprised they didn't lead Arrow, but this actually works out pretty massive for me because now that they didn't lead Arrow, and I don't even know if they even brought Arrow at this point. I'm actually kind of shocked that they didn't bring Arrow, but I guess I can Faint Rock Slide the next turn, so that's fine. Okay, Mega Evolve Pinsir, go for the self-storm throw as they go for Detect, which is actually perfect because if they give me Garchomp, like no matter who they bring out next, it's threatened by Earthquake or Rock Slide. Like Sylveon's in range of either of the attacks. So all I have to do is just like feint and attack the other slot. All right, here's an Earthquake. Goodbye, Garchomp. Beautiful. And then the last Mon, or the next Mon, I'd say. Show me your next Mon. Aerodactyl. Yep, I click Faint Rock Slide. And I just got hit both. That's how this team functions. So we'll go for Feint and we'll go for Rock Slide. This covers for Wide Guard and it covers for Protect from Aerodactyl, and Rock Slide KOs to Sylveon. So this is kind of what I suspected, but the last Mon, it's gonna depend on what kind of Basky Legion it is. I do not remember which set it is. Although I think my play is always to go for Giga Impact plus Rock Slide anyway. It's Mega Aerodactyl, yeah, it's dual Mega. Surprised they didn't bring Scovillain with Redirection. But I guess they're too worried about like an attack from Pinsir knocking it out. They go for Protect, beautiful. As we go for the Feint to go through that Protect. Quick Attack is fine. Nice. Okay, I was holding my breath because I didn't want to say anything, but we do KO both. And now the game should be secured. If it's Kingambit, we click Storm Throw plus Aqua Jet. If it's Basky Legion, we click Impact Earthquake, I'm pretty sure, and that should seal it up. Yeah. Because if this is Scarf Basky Legion, they go for Last Respect. If they target the Pinsir, then Tauros goes for the Earthquake, +6, single target will KO. If they decide, hey, I'm going to go, if they're Sash, that's fine, because I outspeed with both Pokemon anyway. So, yeah. Oh, no. Well, actually, this is still fine, because both my Pokemon are faster, and if Basket Legion lives here, I go for Aqua Jet or Feint. Yeah, it's Sash. Okay. I don't remember the exact details of the Bass, which is why I was like, okay, this still covers Choice Scarf, and in case the opponent changed the team, they go for Last Respect, they go for the Tauros, but now I click Feint here, so perfect. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Tailwind peers out. Oh, yeah, also I had Tailwind. I also had Tailwind. I forgot I had one more turn Tailwind, but granted, this is still pretty fine. I mean, I click Feint. There's no way I could lose here. Okay. They go for Protect. So they're going to go down to their own turns. But yeah, we do go for Feint here. And goodbye, Basky Legion. So beautiful. I think this game could have been very different if they let Aerodactyl, but you know what? We do not complain. We do not complain about that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just going to say I played one game before this. It was unwinnable because it was Stormy Rain. Now we're playing more Rain, Aerodactyl, Scovillain. I just want one okay matchup. It doesn't even have to be that great. It just has to be beatable. Is this beatable? I'm going to be real. Probably not. Like, I think this kind of Rain team, this team does not beat, realistically. We'll try to make something work, but I just do not see how we're winning these kinds of matchups. Okay. What am I going here? I might be willing to just lead camera up to plus Whimsicott and just throw off attacks. I think that's like some of the best that I can really do. Just hope for a Rock Slide Flinch or something with Tauros and Pinsir back. I just don't ever want to risk the Tauros here immediately. The thing is, if they bring Scovillain, Rage Powder, the Storm Throw Mon, it's cooked. If they bring Aerodactyl, if they get Tailwind up, we're playing a few mind games, but it's still not favorable for me. So Basky Legion, Scovillain, yeah, this is not great. Okay. Like, I'm gonna be real, I do not think that this is very likely for me to win, but we'll try something. This is probably Overheat plus Aqua Jet. Or Last Respect, or not Last Respect, Wave Crash potentially. It's never really worth me going to Tauros here. I guess finding out if it's Scarf Basket Legion is actually useful, and I can Encore the Scovillain potentially. Yeah, like, this is, I don't think, winnable. I don't think this is winnable. I don't think the Rain matchup is good with this team at all. We'll Protect. Okay, it's not Scarf on the Bass, which is interesting. We can't get burned by the thing. They go for Liquidation. Oh, it's Sash Bask. Okay. Usually Liquidation means it's either Sash or a pretty bulky Basket Legion that just doesn't want to take the damage. Okay. Overheat. I'm gonna try something and we'll see if it works. I'm going on a Pinsir and I'm gonna try to Storm Drain or Storm Throw my Tauros and switch out to Whimsicott. This has to work for a chance to win. I outspeed both of these Pokemon. I'm gonna hope for some mistake from the Scovillain. Either that they overheat the Whims, or Protect even. Ideally just on Rage Powder. And we'll see what happens. Fast Protects. Wait, they gave me the attack. Okay. I'm taking so much damage here. Am I in jet range? Potentially. I think we go Whimsicott and we protect the Tauros. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do here. Okay. They did overheat, but the overheat did a bit too much. I'm in Rain Aqua Jet range. Yeah, they switch out to Scovillain into Pelipper. Although I don't think it's Swift Swim. Oh, they liquidation. Oh, it's Scarf. Or not Scarf. It's Swift Swim. If it's Swift Swim, it probably means that they can't KO the Tauros with Aqua Jet. Well, they could still. Tauros has good defense though. You know what, we're just locking in Tailwind and Rock Slide. I'm just praying. They didn't Wide Guard or Jet. I do get Tailwind up. Please. I hit both? I cannot believe this line worked. I cannot believe. Oh, wait. What is that Bass? It doesn't have Jet? Or did they just really not want to go for Jet? I mean, we'll take it for sure, but like, what? What's the back, though? Did they have priority in any way? Scovillain. Or Chaladon. Okay. I think the play here is double protect to scout for what they're gonna do. I don't think does +6 Earthquake knock out Whimsicott? I don't think it does. I'm scouting for a protect and an attack here. Did they protect one of these Mons like our Chaladon? If they protect our Chaladon, I guarantee win. Oh. Okay, they just Electro Shot. Okay. And they overheat. Okay. Is this Scarf our Chaladon or is this just a standard one? I would like the damage on our Chaladon. They give me the damage into it. I think I just go for an Encore in our Chaladon and click Earthquake. I was like thinking maybe they go for Protect. Well, I guess if they Protect and I get burned, it doesn't matter because the burn doesn't do enough, right? But that's kind of what I thought my opponent's like end game was going to be. I'm going to go for Encore and Earthquake. And that should seal it up here because Tauros is faster than both. I get all the damage that I need here. It is Sturdy Arch. Okay, but I win anyway. Ooh. If you asked me how did I win this, I think my opponent just gave me a lot of openings. That did not be the case. I think they probably could have risked a villain and just spammed Rage Powder just so that they could redirect a potential any Storm Throw potential. And I think it would have been pretty much cooked, but sometimes you have to play for the opponent messing up. And sometimes the Tauros goes down, but now I'll be able to win the game because I do have access to Feint from the Pinsir, and I don't even have to Mega Evolve at this point. Yeah. I mean, I could decide to do anything else as long as I attack, because we know that our Chaladon's on 1 HP, but I still can't believe this was 1. I really cannot. Sometimes you have to go for like an unexpected, but again, I think if they spammed Rage Powder with Scovillain, this was definitely going to be a lot tougher of a game, for sure. But you know what? Sometimes you can get them by surprise and hope for it. So how was the team? Of course, after the first season, where this team was then revealed, it became a lot weaker afterward. However, I think during that first season, it was probably pretty strong, especially with Whimsicott not being as popular of a Pokemon back then. And of course, there was like some other things that were a bit less common, like Lamora, which is pretty rough, I think, for this team to handle, was a lot less used in that part of the format. However, I was surprised we were able to actually get some wins because the Storm Throw tech actually was able to put in some work. I do think this team is very hard to position, and of course, if the opponent knows about it, it can be a really difficult to be able to set up those Storm Throw, Anger Point strats. However, we were able to in our games. I do think that the matchups are generally pretty rough. Rain is pretty rough. I think Aerodactyl is pretty rough. And of course, as I mentioned before, a lot more priority Tailwind, which makes it difficult, as well as Aerodactyl still being a pretty big threat. So I do think it's pretty tough for this team to set up. However, it is a fun team when you are able to get that Anger Point setup. If you'd like to try out the team for yourself, you can check it out with the details of the team available down below in the description. Of course, the creator will be linked there as well, and you can try out the team with the replica code on your screen. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.